What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Perfect Mess Podcast. I'm your host, Ray Molina, and I appreciate you tuning in, guys. Um, let's just jump right into it. There has been a lot going on with me, man. I've been battling some stuff, but it's all for the good, I can't say it's been bad. It's been good, but it's been just a lot. Um, you know, I'll be honest with you, like I always am. My kids both of them are officially teenagers now. Well, Jordan's been a teenager, but Jaden just turned 13. Jordan turned 15 yesterday, and it's been an interesting transition. Conversations are different, attitudes are different, and just watching them grow and having to step back as a father and allow them to be the young adolescents that they're going to be is new for me, and I'm learning. You know what I mean? And I can tell you, Father's Day just passed, and it was cool, man. I got some necessary gifts, basically all related to baseball, because that's what most of you guys who follow me now, and especially if you're new to the podcast or you're new to my social media, all I do is baseball. So the gifts that I got had everything to do with baseball, which I'm completely happy with, because I'm always needing stuff for baseball. But it's fitting that Father's Day was Sunday, because, and first of all, shout out to all the fathers, man, who are in your kids' lives or trying to be in your kids' lives and busting your ass to be great fathers or be the best fathers you can. It's not an easy task, man. If you put in as much work as I do with as little as you have, I can assure that we understand each other, because it is not easy. A lot of sacrifice, a lot of putting your life on the back burner, a lot of just understanding that your time is not right now, that your time is going to come later once you've done your job. And that job is raising your children and giving them everything that you have in you, all the knowledge, all the lessons that you have, all the encouragement, everything that you have in your being as a father. It is your job to give that to your children, pass it along. So I commend you if you're doing that, because that's what I'm doing. And it's been tough over the last few weeks. Me and my sons, we definitely had a hiccup here not too long ago, where I had to have a heart-to-heart talk with them and talk about how they have been towards me, how they have been, in general. I had to get on a better understanding with the respect that I expect them to have for me and the respect that I will give them, because it is a two-way street. It's a two-way street, and I mean that in the most sincere way. When you have teenagers, it's tough, because you can't just be that parent who just bullies your way around them and whatnot. You have to start learning to respect your children as well. Respect that they are now getting to the age where they have opinions, they have ideas, and they have certain things that they look at life maybe not necessarily the same way you do. Now, yeah, you're still the parent. You guide them and you correct them when they're wrong. But you make parenting so much more difficult when you push your weight around. And I'm trying not to do that with them. So, like I said, we had a heart-to-heart recently, and I was upset with some things that had transpired with attitude, back talk, and then just overall remembering who I am as a father and what I've done with you and for you, and to respect that and always keep that at the forefront before you open your mouth and before you have a certain attitude about whatever it is I'm doing. On the flip side, I've made a promise to them that I will, keep their interests in mind when I do stuff as well. What I mean by that is, I had to remember being a teenager, how it felt to have an adult around that, at times you get embarrassed by certain things. And it's things that most people wouldn't get embarrassed about, but because you're a teenager and you're in that mode of trying to find yourself and what's cool and what's not cool, things can embarrass you that wouldn't embarrass anybody else. So that's where we're at, if you get my drift. That's where we're at right now, where it's a lot of, don't post this, Dad. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And I've had to understand that, okay, I didn't have social media when I was in school. And that's probably the biggest thing, guys, is I had to remind myself, I don't know what it's like to be in school and friends having access to look at everything you do and who you are at all times, like how I live my life. In high school, kids only knew what they saw when you were at school, but now it's different. So I've had to, basically dumb that down, put myself in their shoes, and understand that, yeah, I gotta respect that boundary and be better at it. You know what I mean? So that was basically the conversation. I also explained to them, how I live my life with regards to, everything that I do for them and how I put myself last. And I said, I need you guys to answer me this. What do you guys think I do with regards to when I drop you off or when I'm not with you? What do you guys think I do? You guys think I party? Do you guys think I hang out and go do stuff and go on a bunch of dates? I said, I don't. My life is dedicated to you guys. And I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining. But I'm letting you know that there has to be an understanding that when I'm tired and I finally get a minute to sit down and go to sleep, please understand that when you're done with what you're done with, you get to go home and get on your game and play like a kid should, right? But understand that my day doesn't end. I wake up in the morning, I am doing what I'm doing now. I go to my job, I work, I get out, I do my side hustle for 3 hours or whatever it is, and then I go to baseball practice, pick you up, we get ready for baseball practice, go drive across town, which is about a 30-minute drive, get to baseball, coach a bunch of kids, which I love doing, do that for 2.5 hours, get back to the house by 7:30, 7:45, eat dinner, kiss you guys, and then I work another 2 or 3 hours to somehow have some extra money, if there's ever such a thing, and living out here in the Bay Area. That's my day. I don't have time for women, as much as me being a man, I would love to. I just don't. And I'm done making excuses for it. I'm done feeling sorry for myself. I don't do all that. You know, I've had women try to give me guilt trips. You know, even recently, I had someone try to lightweight take a shot at me, you know, like, well, you know, here's a bit of advice. Don't give your phone number and have conversations with people if, you know, time and distance is a problem. Don't even get it started. And I said, well, interesting reply. Understood. See, because I'm past the going back and forth phase of my life. I'm past the arguing stage, disagreeing stage. I'm past explaining who I am. I'm past explaining that I'm a good guy, that I'm a great father, that when you do even get a little bit of my time, you should probably feel special, because I don't have time for anything. And yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that I deal with. And, you know, and I tell my kids, I'm okay with that, because I know when it's my time to have that part of my life start moving forward, it'll happen. So that was a big conversation we had recently. And, you know, those conversations are hard. You know, they're difficult. But probably the most interesting part was, you know, I think I put a final closure on my divorce recently, which was something that, you know, I hadn't done. Just because it hasn't been, there was no real reason to do it, because it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with my children. And yeah, everything that does with my children has to do with me, but follow me as I tell you. You know, as I'm calling to go, or I'm texting my son to tell them that, hey, I'm gonna go over there and we need to talk. Are you guys awake? It's about 9:30 at night. I just got done doing some side hustle grinding, and my son says, yeah, we're awake. I said, okay, I'm just done. I'm down the street. I'm gonna come by so we can talk. And I see him typing, and then he stops, and then he doesn't respond for like 5 minutes. And I truly believe that this is God working, because I've had these types of things happen with me, and it's always been something like God putting something in my head, like, hey, this is what's going on. And that's exactly what I heard when I put my phone down. I heard someone is at the house and they're trying to make sure that you can come over at that moment and talk. That's exactly what went in my head. And then what went in my head was the play-by-play. Your son is asking his mom if dad can come over right now so we can have a talk. But he's doing that because someone is over there, her friend, and he doesn't want it to be awkward. So after he does that, he's asking if she's gonna ask her partner if he can step out for a bit while the boy's father comes over and talks to them. I'm not kidding you when I tell you that this was running through my head. This was the script that went through my head. I knew that's what was going on, because if I was getting that script so clear, I was like, that has to be it. So I drive over, and I'm literally down the street, and I'm pulling up, and I see my ex-wife's partner walking out of the house. He's walking to the car. We haven't met before. No issues, no nothing. We just have never met before. Like I said, it hasn't really been a reason for us to meet. As long as you're good with my kids, that's it. You don't need my blessing. We're divorced, you know what I mean? So I pull up and I just say, well, what better time than now? And I hear this voice, do it now. Get it over with, do it now. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I get out of the car, and before he gets in the car, I said, hey. I go, hold on. I go, you don't have to get in your car. I go, it's probably time that we meet anyway. Go up, shake his hand. I said, look, pleasure to meet you. I said, you don't have to go running out of the house every time I show up. You don't need to, get in your car and leave just because I'm showing up and need to talk to my kids. You don't have to do that. And for what it's worth, there's never been an issue with you and me. It was more of this family needed time to heal. This family needed time to understand the direction we were going. And meeting wasn't necessarily the most high priority for me in the situation. But it was never an issue with you. My kids seem to think you're okay, and that's all that matters to me. And he smiled. He says, you got great kids, man. You're doing a great job. He started telling me about his kids. And we talked about working out a little bit, shook hands, smiled, and that was that. I'm sharing that with you guys because if you hear the beeping, I'm getting in my car. I'm sharing that with you guys because of this. We all think that we're healed, right? We all think that we are healed and we're okay and we've done the work and whatnot. I always say I've done the work. But what I realized was there are still a few things that I needed to put to rest. And that was one of them. Because what I didn't realize was how much of a weight it was on not only my life, but my kids' life and probably my ex-wife's life. Probably wasn't very comfortable for her having to, or feeling like not having to, because I never told her she couldn't, because that's not my right. But just feeling like she had to kind of keep the two lives separate because she didn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. And that weight is gone because of that small interaction we had. Now, I talked to, a couple of my closest friends, and they were like, bro, you are a very strong man. I don't know that even after that much time I could do that. And I said, you know what, man, it's part of the healing process. It's part of putting that last stitch in your heart to mend the wound from your divorce. And it's very necessary. Because us as men, a lot of us think that we're fixed, and because we dumb things down or because we don't address them. But I can tell you from firsthand experience, if you don't address them, you're not fixed. Because somehow, some way, that is going to come back to haunt you. That's the truth. And as God will have it, that night that I needed to talk to my kids, I also knocked down a very, very big obstacle in moving forward in my journey. And I'm glad that happened. So, I really don't know what this episode is about. Maybe it's about self-healing. Maybe it's about understanding that when you think the work is done, there's a lot more to do. Maybe it's about that. Or maybe it's just about dropping your pride and hitting things head on, especially if you're someone like me, because I'm all about hitting things head on. So when I don't do it, the reality check is a motherfucker, you know what I mean? Anyways, I can tell you what it means to me. It means that I showed my kids that I'm an adult and I can get through anything, and that I can make amends, and that I can face things, difficult things head on. And when they found out that we met outside and talked, their eyes were kind of big, like, oh shit. But then when they found out that we had a grown-up talk and it was good, I could feel the sense of relief with them. Anyways, I don't know if there's a father out there, if there's somebody who's gone through a divorce and who's gone through this, who is avoiding this, don't avoid it. Try to hit it head on. It took me almost 5 years to do it, and I know God had me do it when it was my time. So if you don't feel it right now, don't force it. But if you're just holding yourself back and there's no real reason, just knock it out. Take that weight off your shoulders and get back to being a great dad and moving forward with your life. All right? That's all I got. I love you guys, man. Make sure to check out the website, raymolina.com. I'm on Instagram at The Perfect Mess Pod, or It's Ray Molina. I'm also on all the other social media platforms, TikTok, you name it, Facebook, everything, I'm on there. So check it out. YouTube is youtube.com/at The Perfect Mess Pod. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that's all I got, guys. Like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess. But for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace.